Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Saturday, March 9th, 2024. And it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and just got up from my little after-lunch nap. And if you watched my community page this morning, you saw that my plan for today was to go ahead and change the oil on my new truck. I got all the stuff for that, and I'm still going to do that. But my old truck decided it wanted a little bit of my attention. And let me tell you a little bit about the backstory on what that was. And in order to do that, got to get up here, up in front here and show you. But one of the issues that I've had with this, ever since I did all that work on it, is I removed a lot of the emissions control stuff because it didn't work anyway. And the truck's 30 years old. But ever since I did that, I've had a problem with the darn thing running rich. And a lot of it, I just drive it around town, so it doesn't really often get warmed up as much as it probably should, as it would as if I ran it on the highway a lot. And so what it's doing is it's fuel fouling the plugs. And now I've messed with that. I've changed out all the sensors. I think it's a bad sensor somewhere is what I think it is. I even went so far as I replaced the main computer, which is this thing right here. I actually replaced that and I took it out and tested it, found out it was bad, and replaced it. And back just before Christmas, I did one final thing to it. I thought I had it whipped. I didn't think I was going to have a problem with it anymore. And so I even went so far as to put a brand new set of spark plugs in it and pretty much thought I could stick a fork in it because it was done. And now fast forward 11 weeks to the day later. This morning I started it up and by golly it was missing again. So how do I tell which cylinder is missing? Well, I use my little infrared thermometer thing and I just aim it. I don't know if you can see that, but I just aim it down. You can see the little red light down there. I aim it down at each one of the exhaust ports on the manifold. Should see the little red light down there somewhere. And see which one of them's cold. And well, it's number 8 back there is the one that come up cold, or colder. And so I'm gonna have to pull that number 8 plug, and I'm gonna have to see what. Let me come back around here. Pull that number 8 plug and see what in the world is causing that. It's fuel foul. Apparently, it's still fuel fouling. As I said, it's been 11 weeks to the day. But it's only been a little over 300 miles because this truck drives around town quite a bit. I haven't really been taking it out of town very much. So I'm going to shut you off for a little bit. I'm going to pull that plug and I'll show it to you and I'll show you what the deal is. So anyway, I'll be back. Well, I'm back and you can see I got to use my little step and my fender cover. And I put a towel across there to lay across because that number 8's way in the back there on the driver's side. And there's a little bit of a booger to get to. I guess it must be my day to break stuff because I went to use my little handle thing here. And look at it, broke right there. So fortunately I got another one. I got 3 of them. So I went and grabbed a different one. But anyway, let me show you this plug. Look at that thing. See how shiny that is? Yeah, that's fuel fouled. So apparently I have not resolved my fuel fouling problem. I've still got it. Now I'm going to clean that plug and probably pull the rest of them and clean them all because I'm sure the other ones are probably pretty close to doing the same thing. But that plug's only been in there for 11 weeks. And look how black it is sitting there in the sun. I think I got it where you can see that okay. But that's what a fuel fouled spark plug looks like. You can see how wet it is. So I'll get that all cleaned up and I'll get the thing running again. But I obviously haven't solved my fuel fouling problem. So once again, I'll be back and I'll let you know how things come out. Well, I cleaned that plug and put it back in there, and as you can tell, it's running smooth again. And so that was my issue. I'm going to clean the rest of them, but probably not right now. I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to my regularly scheduled programming, which is changing the oil on the new truck. And then I'll either get back to this either later on this afternoon or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. We'll see. But be back with you. Well, I took the old truck around the block to make sure it was okay, and it runs fine now. I'm still going to bring it down and clean the other 7 plugs. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and change the oil on this one. Now, this one here, it's been sitting for a while, so I drove it around the block too to get the oil all stirred up and warmed up. But the first order of business on this is to get it up on the ramps. And what I did is I've got an old little set of homemade ramps here made out of some old pieces of 2x6. And that gains me 4.5 inches, which makes it a little easier to maneuver under there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on the tripod. And let's see if I can drive up on there without tearing something up. The key, of course, is getting the feel for it so that you don't drive off the end. And I've done it enough times that, as you can see, that gains me a little bit of space underneath. Next thing I'll do is throw a piece of cardboard underneath there to catch any spills. And it's going to take both hands to do that, so I'll be back in a little bit. Well, there you can see where I always put the cardboard down. You can see where that oil splattered. But I've drained the oil. There's the plug. It's pretty easy to get to on this. There's a couple things about it that I don't like. Up here, if I pan up there, there's the oil pan. You can see it's still dripping a little oil out of there. And a big heavy-duty aluminum pan, that's pretty nice. The filter's right over there next to it, so it's pretty easy to get to. But one thing I don't like is they've got that plug facing toward the rear. And what that means, of course, is as soon as you take the plug out, the oil tries to shoot all over the place instead of going straight down. If they had the plug aiming straight down, it'd be a lot easier, especially for us DIYers. I guess if you take it to the dealership, they put it up on a lift, and of course, and they've got a extendable oil catcher thing for that. But most of us DIYers don't have that, and so what you got to do is I put latex gloves on, and I take that plug out, and I just hold my hand there, and I let that oil hit my hand and then drain down into the pan. That's one of the reasons it splatters a little bit. But not a huge deal. It's a little bit of aggravation. Getting that extra 4.5 inches off the ground gives you a lot more room. I've done it the other way, and it's a little more difficult. At least this way I can get in here with a creeper. So anyway, I'm letting it drip. Then I'll change out the filter. There's my filter wrench, and I'll have to kind of pivot myself around to get to an angle at that. Once again, it'll take 2 hands, but I figured I'd show you what I'm doing. Be back in a little bit. Okay, we're all wrapped up under here. Drain plug's back in. New filter's in place. That's a different brand of filter. That's why it's black and the other one was white. I put a Napa Gold filter instead of the Motorcraft filter that I had before. So we're just going to leave all that stuff right there. There's the old filter and the pan. You notice that drain pan's almost full. And so rather than try to move it, I'm just going to leave it where it's at. And we're going to get out from under here, and we'll go put the new oil in it, top side, and I'll take you along for that. Back in a minute. This truck's tall to start with, and when you put it up on that 4.5-inch ramps, I got to use my little 2-step stool to even get up here. Let me show you another thing. Like I said before, I like this truck, but there's a few things about it I don't like. And one of them is, look at that oil cap. Look at that little tiny thing down there. Look at that. Now you can get it off. That's not an issue. But then you got to use a funnel of some kind in there to put the oil in. And you got to hold on to it, and it's just kind of awkward. Takes 2 hands, so I can't show you. But you can just imagine that it takes a little bit to put oil in there. They probably got some kind of special funnel that they use at the dealer. But I don't have one of those. So it just makes it a little bit awkward to be dumping the oil in it. So anyway, that takes 2 hands. So I showed it to you. Got my fender cover up here. I'm going to go ahead and put the new oil in it. Back in a little bit. After I shot that last segment, I remembered that the last time I ended up using 2 funnels. And I used that little orange one, which is long, and then I put the blue one on top of it to get a little bit more wider space there. But this whole thing takes, this is that 7.3 liter Godzilla motor, and it takes 8 quarts of oil. So there's 5 in that big one and then 3 others. I got 7 of them in there. This one right here is still full, but what I'll do is I'll pull that out of there and I'll start it up and let it run for a little bit. And then I'll go back in there and put that last one in. So we're on the home stretch to getting this done. But I wanted to show you that funnel trick because there is a trick to it if you got that Godzilla motor. I don't know why they didn't set it up better than that, but they didn't. So it is what it is, and we'll deal with it. But I use that full synthetic castor oil edge oil, and boy, that darn stuff's expensive. So back again here in the middle with a wrap up. All right, now it's all done. It's running, and all I got to do yet now is I got to put a new label on here. I like to take a label maker and keep track of my last service. As you can see, I got the important information right there on the radiator shroud. And even the drain plug size, so I don't have to crawl in there and grab 2 different wrenches. But I'll put a new sticker on there showing my updated service. And one more thing I got to do. Oh, by the way, some of you sharp-eyed people might have noticed over here there's some corrosion on that battery hold down. And I'll take care of that too while I'm messing with it. But one more thing I got to do. This truck got a lot of tattletales and stuff in it. And one of the things it's got is it's got the deal that tells me that it needed an oil change. And so it's been nagging at me now for probably, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, because I haven't driven it much. If you don't put miles on it, you don't need to change the oil. But what it's got a little tattletale thing now. Let's see if we can reprogram that. First of all, it's telling me the hood's open, like I didn't know. There it is, oil change required. Look at that thing. Okay, we're going to fix that. First of all, we have to say okay that the door's there, okay the hood's open, okay the oil change is not required. Then we got to go over here and go to the, let's see which way we got to go here. We got to go to settings. I'm going to try to remember where that's at now. Not there. Yeah, for servicing, truck info, maintenance monitor. Maybe that's it. Let's try that. There we go. The oil life. See there, it tells me. Okay, so when we hit that, the oil life is 0. It says okay to reset. So we'll reset that. So it says hold okay to reset. Resetting. There's oil life 100%. So now it won't be nagging at me to tell me that that it needs an oil change anymore for a while. I've got it set for 5,000 miles. I change the oil out every 5,000. And so this has been kind of a convoluted thing, this video, and hopefully took you along for the ride, and hopefully I showed you some stuff. But I think what I'm going to do right now is I'll go ahead and end up this one. I'm going to bring the old truck, probably tomorrow I'll do that and clean the rest of the plugs on that. So by the time I get my mess cleaned up and get my labels made and stuff on this one, I'll be ready to take a break. So for right now, I'll tell you as I always do, take care of each other and love each other and take care of yourself. And a little glimpse into fiddling around with new trucks, actually, not even old ones. And we'll bring you another one here pretty quick. Give you one more look at that 100% of oil life. I got to figure out how to get back to the regular screen, but I'll do that here pretty quick. So for right now, I'll just tell you until I talk to you again. Peace out.